Good morning. Happy Monday morning to each and every one of you. Thank you very much for joining us for our Final Expense Monthly Monday. Today is Monday, June 1st. We're about halfway through the year, and it's one of those years where the first half of this year has been extremely rocky. But I do appreciate everybody for joining us today. My name is Matt Alina. I am the Final Expense Manager here at URL Insurance Group. And today we're going to be discussing all things final expense. Final expense insurance is kind of like a carved out segment of the life insurance or life markets division here at URL. And what it is, you're basically targeting life insurance for the older clientele. It does not mean that we don't have products and solutions for younger people that may have some pre-existing medical conditions, but it's really more or less going after that growing segment of our population, which is the baby boomers, the 50 to 80, 50 to 75 age group. And we're going to get into how we target those people and how we can basically grow your sales. So obviously, we have all taken a major hit because of the current pandemic that we're experiencing with COVID-19, but we're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Thank God for that. And really, it's time to kind of start making that business plan as to what we're going to do to go forward and really to recover and recoup some of those losses. Starting now throughout the end of the year. And the things that we do now, it's really going to help bolster us for a good 2021. All indications are showing that we're poised to have a very strong third and fourth quarter. And we're going to get into some of the indications that we're noticing in the marketplace as we're coming out of this pandemic. So today we're going to discuss a couple of things here. We're going to discuss what final expense is, and how you can get started or involved with final expense with us here at URL. We'll be discussing URL's lead program and how we subsidize your lead costs. We'll provide some news updates, company spotlight, sales tips, agent bonuses, and then this is also where you can kind of get into the act. Ask any questions that you have. Either I'll have some answers for you. There have been times where other people on the call have had answers because, let's face it, some of us have been doing final expense sales for quite some time, while some of us are brand new. So we all have some information that we can share, some experiences that we can share as well. I myself have been in the industry for 20 years as of today. Today is my 20th anniversary. I started June 1st of 2000. And I started working for a life insurance company called Zurich Kemper. So time flies when you're having fun. I've been with URL. I'm going into my 17th year right now with URL. So it's been a lot of fun. It's a great industry. Nobody grows up saying, yeah, I want to sell insurance. Or not many of us do that. But it has been a very good industry, and I'm glad that I've gotten involved, and I've met the people that I've met in this industry. So let's get kicked into this. So we're looking at our 2020 final expense sales vision. We like to say that we give you 2020 vision in final expense sales. And for those of you who are brand new to us at URL, maybe you don't know much about us, when you partner with us, you do have access to sales materials, sales guides, online clothing. We have a proven turnkey marketing program. This could work for P&C agencies as well as Medicare producers. We put on webinars like what you're experiencing right now to other seminars and one-on-one training. We have consumer materials like memorial books and brochures and a bunch of other things that are kind of like the whipped cream that goes on top of that insurance policy or that bow. You'll also have access to numerous lead resources when you partner with URL. While URL does not generate leads in-house, we do have some really good vendors out there that do a good job of processing lead requests, targeting your lead orders, and turning those lead orders around rather quickly. And while you're spending money to make money, we do subsidize your lead cost based on your final expense reduction. I'll get at here in just a couple of slides. For those of you who are not really familiar with final expense, maybe you've heard about it or you've heard about senior life insurance, stuff like that. Let me kind of explain to you what it is. So final expense life insurance is a simplified issue whole life policy. What simplified issue means is that there are no medical exams required and there are no medical records. Underwriters are not going after APSs. Now, simplified issue does not mean guaranteed issue. There are still medical questions that you have to ask your client, or the company is going to ask the client. But the idea here is that you get clients coverage quickly. This permanent whole life insurance. And what that means is the rate is locked in for the rest of your client's life. And as long as the premiums are paid, the client can never outlive that coverage. Now, the average benefit amounts start around $5,000 and they cap out around $25,000. There are some companies that'll go to $30,000, $35,000, $40,000. And there are some companies that'll start at $1,000 or $2,000, but the average benefit amounts are anywhere from $5,000 to $25,000. Now, one of the misconceptions in this industry is that final expense is to pay for funeral expenses only, like go right directly to the funeral home. It's not the case. It is a life insurance policy after all. So those benefits can go on to children or grandchildren. Benefits can go on to pay off debt like medical bills, car payments, help maybe that surviving spouse continue to make mortgage payments, a whole bunch of different things that they can do. Now, with the final expense life insurance, and because it's going after target ages of 50 to 80, the underwriting is very liberal. Why? Because people that are 50 to 80 years old probably have some pre-existing medical conditions like heart attacks, cancers, strokes, diabetes, and things associated with diabetes. They also have some height and weight issues too. Maybe they're overweight, underweight, things like that. So the underwriting is very liberal. Most companies aren't really concerned about diabetes, but they're concerned about the complications associated with diabetes. Most of the companies aren't concerned about heart attacks, cancers, as long as it's been 2 years or longer. And one of the benefits of this being a simplified issue plan is that the policies are issued usually in less than a week. There are a lot of companies right now in the final expense marketplace that do same-day approvals, meaning you can call the company with your client, and they'll go over the underwriting questions, and they're going to be checking the MIB and prescription drug records, and then within a matter of a few minutes, they're going to be able to give you an underwriting decision before you even hang up that phone. And because these policies are issued quickly, you get paid within about 48 hours. So for those of you who are doing other lines of business and maybe you have kind of a cash shortfall, meaning that you need some cash to kind of flow into the business right now because of the pandemic and sales are slow. One of the attractive things with final expense is that policies get issued quickly and you do get paid right away too. So those are some things that you might want to consider if you're not doing final expense, why you might want to consider doing that. And I am here to help you get started. I'm here to help you all the entire way. Lean on me, and I will help you with getting any solutions, any problems that you have, whatever you need to do. I'm here to help. Here's a list of our final expense carriers, and for a while now, for the past 2 or 3 months, we've really kind of eliminated a lot of carriers in our portfolio because they weren't allowing you to do sales over the phone. So we had to target companies that were doing e-applications or applications that you could do over the phone. So we're going to get into the companies that allow you to do that, and we'll also be getting into the companies, our core companies, now that we're coming out of the pandemic, and we can now start to resume some face-to-face sales. So we'll get into that here in just a few minutes. We do have a final expense quote engine available on our website at URL insgroup.com/Aries. And when you click on Life Markets, or go to Departments and then click on Life Markets and Quoting Tools, you'll see the second selection is Final Expense. My cursor is going over that area right now. So when you click on Final Expense, it's going to take you to the next page, which you'll see on the left-hand side of your screen, where it'll be the Final Expense Quote Engine. The quote engine does the shopping for you. So you may not be licensed with all of the carriers, but you'll be able to zero in on the carriers that you're contracted with. But you'll see, you'll select the state that you're in, and I know it's a little blurry. You'll select the date or enter in the client's date of birth, their gender, tobacco use, yes or no, and then the amounts of coverage. You try to get the client into a level benefit plan each and every time. Now, there are going to be times where the client's going to only qualify for a graded benefit, or they're only going to qualify for a guaranteed issue plan. We'll get into that when you run into those situations. I'm here to help you with that and help you decipher when you need to go to a guaranteed issue plan versus when you can try to get the client into a level benefit. You don't have to enter anything in the access key, so that'll automatically be pre-filled. And then you just click on Get Quotes Now. So here on the right-hand side of your screen, you'll see that it does the shopping for you. And it's going to be based on the state. So if you're in a state that doesn't offer a particular carrier, that particular carrier is not going to show up on the quote engine. Now, one thing that I will kind of bring to your attention is that the website, this quote engine, is used by a third party. It's another vendor that we have a subscription to. Now, if the carrier does not provide any updates to the quote engine supplier, then you're going to have old information. I ran into that a couple of weeks ago. What's happening is because of COVID-19, some carriers are either changing their maximum issue age. Some companies are going to age 75 as their maximum issue age, or some companies are capping the amount of coverage that they're willing to issue, maybe only at 20 or only at 15,000, 25,000. So there are a bunch of little changes that are temporary that these companies are doing that are making our lives a little bit different, a little more difficult right now. But we have to kind of roll with the punches from time to time. But just to kind of give you an idea, we do have a final expense quote engine. It does the shopping for you. So in this illustration here, you may not be contracted with KSKJ, but you may be contracted with Oxford. So then you would just look and zero in at the rates for Oxford Life. The other thing to mention is that you don't necessarily, this is not a consumer approved or a consumer friendly quoting, because it does the quoting for all the carriers. You may not be licensed with all these carriers, which there may be a carrier or two that's cheaper than what you're quoting. So just be aware of that. So you kind of want to keep this. This is more or less a tool to help you get rates faster and also do some shopping, rates, shopping a little bit faster as well. Let's talk about our final expense lead program. So we have different lead vendors, lead options that are available to you that we've vetted that have worked out very well for final expense agents. And a lot of times these final expense vendors are actually brought to us by some of our other agent partners in the industry. So thank you to our agent partners that do bring this to our attention. If you are working with a lead vendor that is working well for you, that we're not offering, please share that information. I'd be happy to take a look at that. And sometimes because we order so many leads in such a large volume, we're able to get a cheaper rate than what you might be able to get just as an individual. So the lead choices that we have direct mail. You can do a 1,000-piece mailer ranging anywhere from $440 to $500. You can also do what is called a fixed cost or a guaranteed response, which is about $32 to $35 a piece. What that means is that you would order, let's say, 20 leads a week or 20 leads a month. So you're going to pay either $32 to $35 for each lead that you get, and you're guaranteed to get the minimum that you request. So you may get 20 leads, but you also may only get 25 leads or 30 leads. So you do have to pay for them. You're on the hook for that. But a $440 to $500 direct mail 1,000-piece mailer, the average response is about 1.5%. The lead vendors are trying hard to get those response rates higher, but the national average is 1.5%. Generally, it takes about 2 to 3 weeks before leads start coming in for direct mail. If you're looking for something that's a quicker turnaround, you can do the verified teleleads or the basic teleleads. I personally like the verified teleleads. They are a little bit more expensive, but let's face it, you do get what you pay for. They're $25 a piece with a 10 lead minimum order. These leads are exclusive. All of the leads that we're talking about, whether it's direct mail or the tele-leads or even Facebook leads, they are exclusive. They're going directly to you. So these leads are going directly to you, and they are never resold. As soon as the person has, the telemarketer has a lead, you're notified of that lead within about 15 to 20 minutes of that phone call, and you're notified through email in real time. They're doing a quality check before they pass on that information because they are recording all of those phone calls. So you have verified tele-leads. We have Facebook leads. There's a vendor that's doing them for about $30 a lead with a 20 lead minimum order. Again, you're notified in real time, and these leads are exclusive to you. Going back to the tele-leads, basic tele-leads are $10 to $15 a lead. Again, you have a defined sales territory. They are exclusive, and they're never resold. So what is the difference between verified tele-leads and basic tele-leads? I get that question a lot. Verified tele-leads is a U.S. company, U.S.-based callers, and they're making, there isn't those language barriers. There are the basic tele-leads, and it's companies that are it's $10 to $15 a lead. There are companies that are not originating from the United States, so there could be some potential language barriers. A couple of minutes ago, I was telling you that lead companies are brought to our attention through some of our agent partners from time to time. And this next lead partner is live transfer leads. One of our agent partners in the Philadelphia market brought my attention to this company that does live transfer leads. Basically, it is a warm handoff where it's $35 to $38 per lead. Sometimes those lead costs are going up to about $40 a lead. You get to determine your targeted demographics. You can use your area code, your city. You can do the entire state. You're not doing any cold calling. So, like with the tele leads that you get, you still have to pick up the phone. You still have to get that person to answer the phone. With live transfer leads, they already have that person on the phone for you. So they're transferring that call to you, making a warm handoff. You do not have to sign any contracts with this company. You get to focus on closing sales, and also a U.S.-based company. And this live transfer does live transfer leads for some of the larger P&C organizations out there, like Farmers and Nationwide and a few others. So we do have access to this company as well. If you are interested in learning more about this company, feel free to give me a call, and I'll be happy to help you with that and kind of go over what they do. So as we're talking about the different costs that are associated with leads, let's talk about our lead subsidy. So for our Gemini partners, for every $1,000 of paid annual premium or final expense annual premium, we're giving you $80 for every $1,000 of placed annualized premium each month. For standard partners, we're giving you $50 for every $1,000 of placed or paid annualized final expense premium. So if you did $5,000 in the example here is wrong. Anyway, if you did, let's say you did $1,000 in final expense business for our Gemini partners, you're getting $80. Standard partners, you're getting $50. If you're interested in those lead subsidies at the beginning of each month, so today I'll be starting to pull production reports for the month of May to determine who gets lead credits and stuff like that, and I notify our final expense agents of their lead credits that they have. So for those of you who are not involved in final expense, getting started is rather easy. The first step is to select your carriers. The second step is to submit contracting, and the third step is to order leads. If you need help selecting, I'm here to help you with that. If you've already submitted your contracting, that's great. If we have your flash packet on file, awesome. Then you don't have to submit any more paperwork. I can just notify our contracting department that you want to get licensed with XYZ companies, and they'll send you a confirmation email, and we'll get that started. And then once we get the contracting rolling, that's when you're going to want to order leads. Now, if you're doing Telemarketed leads, and you're in Pennsylvania, you're going to want to hold off for about a week. The reason I say that is Pennsylvania, and then there are some other states in the country that are pre-appointment states, meaning you need to be licensed prior to submitting business. And telemarketed leads generally take about 48 to 72 hours before leads start coming in. If you do lead mailers, the direct mail leads, that you can order leads at the same time, because it's going to take about 2 to 3 weeks before leads start coming in. And by the time leads start coming in, your contracting paperwork should already be ready to go. You should already have your agent numbers. So really, getting started is easy as 1, 2, 3. Select your carriers, submit your contracting paperwork, and then we can get those leads ordered. And for those of you who are brand new to final expense, meaning you've never done final expense business with URL, for every place that final expense application during your first 2 months or first 60 days, we're giving you an additional $25 cash bonus. Again, you must be new to URL, or you haven't submitted business with URL in the past 24 months. We'll be taking a look at the business that you placed within the first 60 days. The minimum annualized premium for a case to qualify is $500. And the thing here is that you can double dip. So in addition to the $25 bonus, you can also apply that towards your lead subsidy bonus that you would get. That is our final expense fresh start bonus. One thing I forgot to mention is that there are lead vendors out there that we're not using, but maybe you're having great success with them. Don't upset the apple cart. Continue to use that lead vendor, and we will help you. We'll still subsidize your lead costs. So we're talking about Pennsylvania's COVID-19 and what the response, and most of our agents, and please forgive me for those of you who are not in Pennsylvania, but I just want to kind of highlight some of the areas there and what these color mean for us in Pennsylvania. I will also encourage all of you to check the Department of Insurance websites for wherever you are doing business to see what the actual colors or what the reopening of each state means and what you can and cannot do. There has been some confusion, and I do want to get some of this clarified. So in the state of Pennsylvania, the Pennsylvania government is doing a color coding system. And as you can see on the map here, you've got red, yellow, and green. So what does that mean for insurance sales? For those of you who are in red counties, and there's just a few counties, basically it's the counties kind of surrounding the Philadelphia area, and there's a little bit there in the Northeast Territory as well. What that means is that face-to-face sales is prohibited. You cannot do face-to-face sales. There are companies that will allow you to do telesales, either through e-applications or through phone applications. We have solutions there. We've talked about that the last several weeks. So if you're in one of those counties, or maybe you're targeting some of those counties, we do have solutions for you. For the majority of the state, you're going to see that we're yellow. Here in Dauphin County, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, we went yellow as of May 29th. What does yellow mean for insurance sales? It means that we are allowed to do face-to-face sales when it is not feasible to do sales over the phone. So telesales is still the preferred method. However, your license is not in jeopardy if you do face-to-face sales. What I've basically been telling agents is that there's nobody that's going to be looking over your shoulder. They're not going to take your license away if you're doing face-to-face sales in a yellow county. And then in the green county, of course, you still want to be safe and everything else. Even in the green counties, you're allowed to do face-to-face sales. So really, the only area where you cannot do face-to-face sales right now is in counties that are red. There is talk that those counties that are red are going to be going yellow here in the next week or so. So stay tuned for some updates there. We do have a URL Insurance Group COVID-19 webinar that we do every Friday, and we'll have that updated information when we get it. Now, for those of you who have been working with URL for a while, you probably know that we have been working remote for the last, I don't even know how long. I think we're in 2 months now, where all the URL employees are working from their homes. I'm calling you, I'm working from home. When our county goes green, which they're anticipating that that's going to happen in about 2 weeks, URL is working on getting a plan to bring employees back into the office and kind of rotating that. We will be giving you some more information on that as it becomes available. But URL's physical office, our brick and mortar building, we're planning on getting that reopened as soon as our county, Dauphin County, Pennsylvania, is open or goes to green. And even when it goes to green, there is talk that we're going to still be on a rotating basis with some people in the office, some people still working remote, and we're going to be doing extensive cleaning of the office every day, and we're only going to be limiting agents to have access to our office on an appointment only when we're in the green. Once we're no longer in this like color-coded situation, I'm anticipating that it's going to go back to normal. But that's just to kind of give you an idea of what's going on with URL in our office. If you do have any questions or you have any quick concerns, feel free to reach out to me or anybody at URL. We'll be happy to help you with that. So what does the post-pandemic future of final expense look like? Well, one of the things that the industry is indicating is that demand is up. When COVID-19 first started, there were a lot of people that were doing more inquiries. Online inquiries was up 50%. Online sales was up 29%. Demand is up. People still want insurance, and lead vendors are quickly turning around leads. So with leads, we can get you, it's all a matter of supply and demand, and we'll help you with that and help you meet that demand. Many carriers during the pandemic and even post-pandemic have made some quick adaptations to their processing and their underwriting. Phone applications and e-applications versus paper applications. A lot of companies that didn't have those capabilities for final expense came out with those abilities. Some companies decided they were going to still stick to their guns and only do paper applications. There are some changes that are not so positive, and that is that there have been some COVID-19 underwriting changes and product changes. While I anticipate that that's going to be temporary, I don't know when they're going to loosen some of those restrictions. What I mean by those restrictions is that some companies have been capping their issue ages to 75 versus 80 or 85, or some companies are only capping their death benefits to 15,000 versus 20 or 25,000 or higher. So there are some changes that have been made there. I cannot wait for those changes to be relaxed again. But those are some adaptations that the industry has made. One thing that I have found is that we have to learn to be flexible if we're not already flexible. And what that means is that you're going to encounter some people that are going to be comfortable with meeting face-to-face. And then there are going to be people that would rather that you continue to do your social distancing. There are people that have some pre-existing conditions, or they're just very scared, and they may have some reasons that they don't want to see strangers or see people outside of their immediate family for one reason or another. We need to respect that. While I personally am comfortable with meeting people face to face, I also need to respect and understand that there are some people that are not going to want to meet with me face to face because they may have some reasons. My wife, as an example, my wife does a little babysitting for our grandkids. And if I were to bring home COVID-19 or something like that, obviously my wife will be exposed and she could bring that to our grandkids. And that's probably my wife's biggest fear. So we just need to be flexible with that. And there are so many ways in which we can be flexible. You know, again, there are companies that offer the ability to do face-to-face sales, and there are companies that allow you to do the sale over the phone. So be flexible, and like I said, demand is up. So the opportunities to make some money in final expense and to quickly recover and make 2020 a better second half than the first half, it's looking pretty good. I want to spotlight some of our core final expense carriers. Normally during this time, I try to highlight companies that one company or another, but at this time I want to highlight some companies that have really been the core of our final expense business over the last several years. And you'll see that I didn't mention a lot of these companies during COVID-19 because we had to do phone sales, and some of the companies were not available. So here's the core of our companies. KSKJ, they have some really good rates. You can do a paper application and then drop off the application with your client for signatures if they're not comfortable with doing a face-to-face meeting, but KSKJ's rates are really good. Oxford Life has some really good rates, but you need to be face-to-face with the client. Mutual of Omaha and Transamerica, two household names. People know those companies. They both have e-applications as well as the paper applications. So those are two companies that have good rates, good underwriting. Sometimes they're a little difficult to work with from time to time because they're just so large, but they are some good core companies with some household name recognition. Foresters is another company that has really good final expense rates. Actually, did a rate reduction at the beginning of the year. We really haven't been able to highlight Foresters because of COVID-19. So it's nice to be able to mention them again. They are really good with diabetic underwriting because they're not concerned about diabetes. They're only concerned with the complications associated with diabetes, like vision problems, kidney problems, heart problems, or loss of limbs, things like that. Liberty Bankers Life is a company that has really come to the top in terms of their underwriting and also in terms of their ability to their rates, as well as their ability to adapt to the changes. They have a phone application. They've always had a phone application, and it's probably the easiest one out there that you can use. And so that's Liberty Bankers. Another good company that we mentioned in some of our previous calls is Royal Neighbors. Royal Neighbors has really good rates. They're also very flexible. You can do an e-application where it's approved in your state. You can also do a phone application, which is really easy. And their underwriting is very liberal as well. No height and weight questions. They also have a 2-year look back on significant medical ailments like heart attacks, cancers, and strokes. And they're not concerned about neuropathy or a person taking gabapentin. That's a knockout question with companies. Royal Neighbors is an option as well. And I'll help you with deciphering that. When you run into any clients that you're just not sure where to go, give me a call, and I'll be more than happy to help you with that. So what are the 9 steps or the 9 tips to getting restarted? I really feel that, normally we have something like this at the beginning of the year, usually in January, like how do we get going for a great year? And I feel like we have to hit the reset button here in June as we're kind of coming out of the end of the pandemic and really trying to make the most out of the remainder of 2020. I can't believe we're already in June. So the first step is to relearn your products. Know your products like the back of your hand. Know what the benefits are. Remember that with final expense insurance, you're selling the benefits and what it does. You're not selling it as life insurance. Number 2, when you're meeting with somebody, whether it's over the phone or face-to-face, ask questions to find out what your client's pain points are, and then find the benefits that are going to meet and resolve some of your client's pain points. Number 3 is be prepared for your call and appointment. What I mean by that is when you're calling somebody, know exactly what you're going to say to the word. Practice it. And practice makes perfect. Whether you're setting the appointment or whether you're making a face-to-face call or a face-to-face sale or a phone call, whatever it is, be prepared for your presentation. Know what you're going to say. Number 4 is lean on your support team. URL Insurance Group, we are your support team. So lean on us. We're here to help you with that. Number 5 is sell the benefits. Don't sell life insurance. Nobody likes to think of life insurance. No one likes to think about dying. Sell the benefits and what it can do, how it can help the family, how it can leave money to pay for that funeral, or how that you can leave money to pay for those medical expenses, or make that mortgage payment or car payments, or pay off those credit cards, whatever it is. Sell what insurance can do. You can leave tax-free money. It avoids probate. Number 6 is to follow up with your client. Follow up every step of the way. That way you're staying in front of your client and you're not allowing that client to venture off somewhere else. Number 7 is to practice. Practice everything that I've mentioned at the beginning. Practice, and then at number 8, practice again. And number 9, practice again and again. You will find that the people that have been very successful and are currently successful in final expense, they know exactly what to say, when to say it, and how to say it. And why do they do that? Because they've done it for a long period of time, and they know exactly what they're going to say because they polished their presentation. You can do it too. It does take a little bit of work. It does take some discipline. And we have sales scripts available for you. We have ways to come back for agents or for clients that have some rejections, and how to come back from that, how to start talking about final expense, basically to learn your client's pain points. We have all those scripts and all of that material available to you. All you need to do is 1, get contracted with URL, and 2, ask, and we'll be happy to provide that for you. You're working hard, you're playing hard, and while a lot of the 2020 trips that agents earned from their 2019 production, agents have had those trips basically gone away. We do have carriers that are still tentatively offering trips for your production for 2021 trips. So here's the list of that. Kind of like work hard and play hard. So you work hard, you kind of focus on a particular company or another and send the majority of that business to that company so you can make that trip. And then, you're making money, you're earning an opportunity to see the world and all that good stuff. So if you have any questions on the various trips and how to qualify, give me a call. So we were talking about some upcoming training, and earlier today I mentioned that there's a Facebook vendor where you can get Facebook leads for about $30 a lead. What we have found is that agents are spending a lot of money on leads, and they're not really panning out very well. So we have some upcoming training that might be of interest to you. The very first training is going to be this Wednesday, so the day after tomorrow. We will be doing a webinar on Facebook marketing lightning session. This is open for all agents, and basically it's just to kind of give you an idea of how you can get started doing your own Facebook marketing, and it's just going to give you a little bit of flavor of what it is and stuff like that. Then for Monday, June 15th, so 2 weeks from today, we'll be doing a webinar on and this is going to be for URL exclusive agents only. So if you're not contracted with URL, you're going to want to get contracted if you want to get Facebook marketing and advertising on steroids. This is how you're going to learn how to get advertisements to pop up in people's news feeds, how you're going to get it just kind of branded throughout the person's Facebook page. So they're going to see your name, they're going to see your agency name, they're going to see articles that you post. So that's going to be exclusive to URL agents only, and that's going to be on Monday, June 15th. You can register for either of those webinars on our website. The exclusive one, if you are not contracted with URL, you will not be invited. So if you're not licensed, now is the time to do that if you're not contracted with URL. Once you're on our roster, then you'll be able to have access to that marketing and advertising. Now this kind of goes to the end of our presentation. This is our open forum. This is where we want to hear from you. And I know I get a lot of calls at the end of these things after we've already parted ways, where you bring me some of your challenges and some of your successes. I want to know what they are. How are leads working out for you? If you've been ordering leads, whether it's from one of your lead vendors or one of our lead vendors, how are they working out for you? And if you've been on the fence about giving Final Expense a try, what can I do to help? Again, we've really had a rough first half of the year. We're now halfway through 2020, and what can I do to help your business recover from COVID-19? While we may not have had COVID-19, our businesses have suffered from COVID-19, and I'm here to help you with that. So if you are looking for quick cash flow into your agency, into your business, Final Expense is a great way to do that. And let me put my contact information here. See, some questions may have come in. Again, my name is Matt Alina. I'm the Final Expense Manager here at URL. The best way to get a hold of me is my direct line at 717-216-8041. That's 717-216-8041. I had a question here. Does URL have any offices and locations in New York, like Queens or Long Island? And no, we don't have any physical locations in New York. We are a national brokerage, so we do have products and services in New York. We are, like I said, a national brokerage. And another question here came in: are the clients' underwriting interview done over the phone? Yes, we do have carriers that will do underwriting the interview over the phone, and usually the carriers that do that, they offer the underwriting approval or the underwriting decision during that phone call. So if there's any other questions, feel free to type those questions, and I'll be happy to answer them for you. Again, let me give you my phone number and my direct line, 717-216-8041. Any other questions coming in? So I'm going to wish everybody a great week. Thank you very much for your business and for your partnership. For those of you who are not with us, look forward to working with you and earning your business. So until next time, I hope everybody stays healthy, stays well, and be safe.